So, Rudolf kind of approached me to talk about ATA strategy, and with so many competitors in the room and being based in Vodacom, I thought it would be wise to just give tidbits of it. So I'm not going to delve too much into it. So, if there's any specific questions, I'm going to have to take them offline outside. Okay. So a couple of things are keeping us, giving us food for thought as we move ahead with regards to the data space. Globally, mobile data traffic growth is expected and is expected to grow on average 90% year on year. Now, the reason why I have this chart up is there's 3 independent views on it from independent analysts, with Cisco saying 108%, Yankee Group 88%, and Credit Suisse 94%. So on average, we're bound to see significant mobile data growth year on year. If we have to contextualize it for South Africa, what the analysts are predicting is that we can expect 88-fold increase in mobile data traffic from what we have today. So if you take all the mobile devices that connect on a packet level to the networks, the average consumption in 2010 was 11 megabytes. And as we build up to 2015, we can expect that number to be 822 per device. Okay? If you look at what's driving that, besides pricing that's going down and the ubiquity of mobile networks, you also have smartphone penetration that's expected to grow. Now, the number that I'm quoting here is billable data. Let's not even talk about the signaling data that we don't even see or know about, that's almost consuming up to 20%, on top of this value in the background. That is checking if there's emails constantly in the exchange server and those sort of things. So the individual mobile data connection is expected to reach 822 megs from 11 megs today. Clearly, the revenue is following that trend, and as you can see, the big growth in mobile into the future is broadband. Voice revenues are going to decline, and significantly so. Where does that leave us? So, the idea behind this slide is to say that we as Telkom and ATA are significantly investing for this future growth. We're taking a long-term view. We've deployed a 21 megabit network now. We have 2G and 3G at every base station. So we haven't differentiated a 2G only network and a 3G only network. And that means in areas where there's emerging markets in lower LSM areas, we have 3G and 2G. So we followed a short-term voice strategy and a long-term data strategy by investing on a dual level. We also have a deployment in most metropoles and a lot of smaller towns across the country. It's important to note we have 3 internet breakout points across the country. Okay, so 3 in Cape Town, Durban, and Johannesburg. We have 18 mobile national IP points of presence. And what the slide is, in a nutshell, saying is that you can expect, value from us going ahead because we're making significant investments. And you can expect this level of value. In terms of our data launch, and from listening to all the conversations in previous conferences, questions keep getting asked, are these prices sustainable? So 2 bits of news on this front. We have an empty network. We have similar spectrum as Vodacom, MTN, and Cell C today on 1821. So we have an empty network. So right now, we can accommodate the speeds, we can accommodate the customers, and we can accommodate the experience. We've also done some intelligent things on the back end to make sure that this experience continues into the future. We've done that by the way we publish our coverage maps. We've done that by the way we design our backhaul, and by the way we actually carry that backhaul across the network. I think another bit of interesting stat on the left-hand side is 15.5% of adult population access the internet in South Africa during a week compared to 4%. So significant growth planned in this space. Where to from here? Before I get off the slide, my marketing department reminded me to announce that the Go Big 199 promotion will stop at the end of December this year. Okay, so end of December is the last time you will be able to take out the 199, but we will be following that up with other innovative offerings. Now, with all that growth that's planned in the data space, you know, I've heard some of the other speakers talk about spectrum being the key. I believe that spectrum is not going to play a long-term role around mobile or around broadband. And the fact is, at 88% or 88-fold growth, there's no way that any spectrum can accommodate that sort of growth. So a definite converged strategy is required. You need to offload as quickly as possible from the mobile network into a fixed network, and we are uniquely positioned to do that, considering the fixed line network where there's 170,000 kilometers of fiber in the ground today. You know, in addition, in terms of the offload, you know, an interesting stat which most of you might have seen. I mean, it's freely available. 40% of mobile broadband today is consumed in the home, 30% is consumed in an office, and 30% is only consumed on a nomadic basis. That means moving to a coffee shop and starting it up. So a lot of mobile broadband is consumed in fixed locations, and having a fixed offload strategy is absolutely vital going forward. In terms of rural broadband, I think, you know, Lars spoke about that quite significantly. Sub 1 gig is the key. I mean, you know, in all honesty, to deploy a broadband network in the deep rural of South Africa on 1800 is just not financially feasible at this stage, especially for a upstart like ourselves. I'm sure, you know, the bigger companies out there are in a position to subsidize over a longer term, but for us it's not, and we definitely need the sub 1 gigahertz spectrum. Predominantly the 800 that would come in the form of the digital dividend to really cater for the rural South Africa's needs. In terms of increased OPEX, you know, going forward, you know, with all the advancements in speed, you know, Lambo talked about 100 megabits per second. You need backhaul for that. So the ability to provide backhaul at a good price is key. You know, going forward in an LTE network, the talk currently is that 80% of the costs of an LTE network is around backhaul. So, you know, talking about LTE, I'd like to also just announce that we are deploying a 50-site trial LTE network currently. We have about 6 sites that are built, and we've got our Evolve Packet Core implemented. We're busy testing in and around Gauteng, and we'll expand those sites, you know, to Cape Town and Durban over the next couple of months. But, you know, it's important to state that while we talk about this technology is bleeding edge. So a lot of questions still unanswered. The device ecosystem, the pricing model, you know, the quality of service parameters that you're gonna offer, and quite frankly, the backhaul is the key. So a lot is going on in the background. So while we're playing with this technology and testing it, a lot is happening to still further standardize it, and it's nowhere near there. So making too bold and too early a move, you know, you could find yourself with your fingers burnt. 5 reasons to move forward with LTE. Increase capacity at a lower cost per gig. Okay, so LTE, the modulation scheme, just allows for better capacity than 3G, and on top of that, you know, the sites do not breathe like your traditional 3G sites, so it's quite a fixed footprint. Improve customer experience with faster connection time and lower latency. Different commercial models coming out, fixed mobile services. That means a good substitute for ADSL type services. And again, you know, potentially offering video on demand type services with LTE. Why is Telkom considering it? You know, I think Steve Lewis mentioned earlier, Telkom is plagued by a lot of copper theft at the moment. And ideally, for offering fixed line services or ADSL type services, with the requisite quality that it requires and what customers have come accustomed to, LTE is definitely an alternative. You can offer speeds of guaranteed of up to above 10 megabits per second, and pretty much aligned to the ADSL type functionality. Telkom also has a high quality infrastructure, recently modified with the World Cup and the points of presence across the country. As well as experience with national field support, which one would require with services like these. So in closing, I think I touched on what's keeping us up at night, the huge data demand that's coming, how we're looking at this growth, and how we're planning for the future. I also talked about the products that we're going to keep innovating. So we're definitely are guaranteed to provide value to the marketplace at all times. And yeah, to our competitors, we're here to stay. We're making significant investments in the country and in terms of the data network. And we also see that data customers today want to touch you on the web. So I'm putting up all our touch points. I've included my Twitter address. So please feel free to let me know what you're experiencing, how you're experiencing it, and we'll try and make a difference to improve your experience going forward. Thank you.